Incredibly, at this point the show was still only halfway through, so there was still plenty more of Fern and Peach's natural on-screen chemistry to enjoy. It was all leading up to a frankly astounding moment where Peaches suddenly revealed she was actually stupider than she already appeared.
I am a Scientologist.
Okay.
I've been a Scientologist for a while now. Yeah. I mean, it's...
Oh no, she's gone again, look. Still, this is a real scoop Fern's got here.
I couldn't believe what Peaches was saying. This was the first time she'd ever publicly admitted to being a follower of the religion of Scientology.
Yeah, I suppose it would come as a surprise if you hadn't picked up on the obvious clues, like the references to L. Ron Hubbard and the talk of being on a spiritual journey. But then this is Fern Cotton we're talking about. She's probably still surprised to wake up in the morning and discover she's got a pair of feet.
The other thing that really shocked me was that you're a Scientologist. I had no idea. Everything else I kind of read about or heard through the grapevine, but that I was not expecting.
I keep, like, stuff like that private because it's, like, something that is, like, a sacred thing in my life and a private thing, so, like, why would I want to broadcast it?
Now, why would ITV2 want to broadcast it? Anyway, having stared deep into the void, it was time for Fern's final summing up.
Hanging out with Peaches has been mad.
No, it hasn't.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit exhausted.
No, you're not.
But it was really fun and interesting.
No, it wasn't.
It's been a roller coaster.
No, it hasn't.
You know what? She's having fun. She's making a lot of money out of it. Maybe she is having the last laugh.
In November, telly finally gave up and lost its flipping mind completely. It seems at some point a bunch of TV types held a meeting at which they tried to work out who was the one person in Britain you could execute on TV without upsetting everyone. They decided on Gary Glitter, and the result was a show called The Execution of Gary Glitter, a drama doc which constructed a complex moral maze from a serious issue, then drove a bus full of squawking clowns through the middle of it. It was set in an eerie alternative Britain in which capital punishment has been reinstated and television news graphics budgets have been slashed to 25p. The idea was that the general public, driven out of their silly wits by the same moronic tabloid culture that apparently dictates the TV commissioning process, had pressurised the government into bringing back hanging.
Kill the paedophiles in it. Oh, look, she's made a sign. That's adorable. Anyway, for the purposes of the story, the noose isn't just for murderers, but paedophiles too, which is good news for rope manufacturers and bad news for disgraced glam rockers.
Yes, because the first test case just happened to involve PC World's most notorious customer, the Glitterphile, sporting his 21st century evil Santa look.
To make it all seem vaguely more plausible than, say, the film Pete's Dragon, the whole thing was dotted with talking head interviews with people you hate, and one you previously respected, in which they discussed events as though they had actually happened.
I think I expected to see a shuffling old man, and actually he came in quite proud.
Tastefully, it also bolstered its shaky sense of realism with a reconstructed interview in which an actress played a real Vietnamese child abuse victim. I'm surprised they didn't throw in a claymation reconstruction of the allegations themselves. The trial itself was a dramatic affair full of nasty pictures and shouting and gavels. Oh, and the Glitterphile didn't exactly do himself any favours.
She turns up at my house, with a little smile and strutting around in her skimpy little shorts.
Come the summary, the actor for the prosecution started reading the stage directions.
I'm going to tell you something, and then I'm going to sit down.
He then described Glitter's predilection in terms that sounded more like a review of Michael McIntyre at the London Palladium.
It is a repulsive act that flies in the face of our natural instincts.
Oh, come on, don't be a comedy snob. Soon it was time for the verdict, which was a tense moment.
Members of the jury, have you reached a unanimous verdict?
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. 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 I say!
We find no mitigation and hereby sentence the defendant to death.
Still, at least one Gary was happy.
It was so good to see. He should have been strung up on the neck from the nearest lamppost as soon as he was found guilty, I think.
Oh yeah, just like the good old days when there was a glam rocker hanging in every street in the land. The final scenes were as moving as they were sensitively handled, i.e. they weren't. You know, I always thought the glittercution would involve dry ice and laser beams, maybe some members of Pan's people, at the very least a disco light, but no, apparently it's just a stark room and some string. Oh, and Frank Dobson as the hangman.
Things turned all serious-like as Glitter prepared to face his most disappointing drop since Rock and Roll Part 2 fell out of the top 40.
But I hope gravity's not working in this alternative Britain, Gary.
What? This isn't happening!
You think you're finding it hard to believe?
I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything.
Oh, come on, mate, cheer up. It's only a bit of string.
I've just got to be a wind-up.
Stand clear.
I'm an innocent man. I haven't done anything.
That certainly made me think. It's made me think, I don't know if I want a television anymore.
Jungle Antics and the fun mainstream game show where famous people eat testicles and eyeballs to survive returned once again, hosted by Gigglesome, Doublesome, Ant and Deck.
Some people have difficulty telling them apart, but I've got a fun little system. Ant is the one I'd most like to deck. After I finish with Deck, obviously. This year's Jungly Wunglies included a woman who looks like a 60-year-old version of a 9-year-old girl, a pair of tits, another pair of tits, and a man who looks like a genetic cross between a lion and a scrotum.
The series enabled the British public to repeatedly subject convenient hate figure Katie Price to the modern equivalent of the ducking stool. And as ever, it also extracted much comic mileage from the cheerful, meaningless slaughter of countless live insects.
They've made her kill a sentient creature for entertainment.
Things got even more entertaining when some of the stars caught a live rat, killed it with a knife, then filleted, cooked and ate it.
Tastes nice.
We'd just like to say no rats were harmed in the making of that footage.
We'd like to, but we can't.
We can't.
Yeah, take that, Ratty. I'm sure everyone in the world found that an absolute laugh riot.
ITV has been forced to apologise for the killing of a rat on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yes, as informative beacon of Clarity 5 News soberly pointed out, the producers were in trouble for not consulting the RSPCA before the rat's death, leaving Gino and Stuart facing court.
You know, if this goes to trial, they could end up being fined as much as 4, maybe 5 stars for Ken.
December means Christmas and Santa, who now has his own channel. Yes, Santa Vision, the fantastic interactive way to touch base with Captain Claus. For a mere £1.50, you can text your child's name onto Santa's naughty or nice list.
Or if you want to make things really cheery, text in the name of a notorious serial killer.
Another one here for the naughty list, Dennis Nielsen. Oh dear, Dennis, you've been up to no good, have you?
As the year drew to a close, so did the nation's favourite distraction from Armageddon, the X Factor.
The contestants were actually a fairly run-of-the-mill bunch this year.
There was this Sue Pollard type who sounded like a Little Britain parody of an X Factor contestant.
Yeah, oh, don't want to be a wedding singer, no offence to any wedding singers. They're very good.
Jamie, who looks like he was born to take part in a shit 70s night. Ollie, a sort of melted waxwork approximation of Will Young.
There was also this 8-year-old boy. You know, for some reason, I can imagine Lloyd starring in a really shit platform game where you have to jump over rainbows and collect buttons or something. But the show's biggest talking points were John and Edward, or Jedward as idiots insisted on calling them.
They were two poisonously awful singers whose performances came across like Big Brother housemates being forced to do a song and dance number in an afternoon as part of a task.
John, save me! Don't be such a baby! I ain't afraid, no go!
The final was a suitably grandiose affair with an assured professional cameo from Robbie Williams. Yeah, thanks for fluffing your lines, Robbie. That's my chances. We also got to see Paul McCartney do his level best to destroy the last 40 years of musical history. In case you're wondering what that revolving sound is, it's John Lennon spinning in his grave at 1,000 RPM.
Christ, I haven't heard that much hysterical screaming since the exciting airport level in Modern Warfare 2.
Well, that's about it for our roundup of 2009. We'll be back in January with a new series of Newswipe, which you'll return for. Until then, have a palatable Christmas and a just about acceptable New Year. Now, get out!
Next week here on BBC4, princesses, Easter eggs and end-of-level bad guys. Charlie Brooker leads us through the levels and ladders of the gaming world. Gameswipe is next Wednesday at 11:30.